the night before. You know, he got all of the how to votes from all of the parties and he's doing all of the translation, and he reads a part of my how to vote that says all of our candidates are anti-racist activists. And at that point, his mum stops the meeting and says, no, you don't have to read anymore, this is the guy we're voting for. So, you know, that's a hell of a thing to have someone's trust placed in us like that. You get moments like that. You get a nurse at Craigieburn early voting who is just full of despair at the state of the hospitals, the promises by Andrews. We've got these legislated ratios, thanks Stan, but we're not working to ratio. There's no staff available. Everyone is just ground down and overrun. And she's looking at me, look, what can you do about it? And said, look, as one person in Parliament, as two people in Parliament, we're not going to be able to do much, but I can promise you this, we will make a fight about it. We will call out the lies and hypocrisy and demand greater funding and, you know, like give you a voice. And she comes out after and she says, okay, I voted for you. You better do what you're saying. I say, yeah. And you better chase me up. 2 weeks, if I get elected, I want you to call my office after 2 weeks and say, what the hell have you been doing? Why aren't you raising hell about the state of hospitals? How many times have you visited one? How many nurses have you talked to? How many solutions have you come up with? Because working class people know a lot of the solutions, but they're just, you know, denied a voice in this system. So you'll have experiences like that.
Given the plebiscite was about to happen, that no one had witnessed a flag hanging on a construction crane, maybe anywhere in Australia, maybe in the world. Who knew? And he rang me one evening.
A rainbow flag, that should be it.
Sorry?
A rainbow
flag, yeah, sorry. And Jerome rang me and said, look, how do you think it would go if we put a flag on the hook of the crane? And I immediately thought, yeah, that's priceless. That's just brilliant, you know. A, because, you know, it might shit a lot of people, which is great, it might make them think. And so I spoke to our shop steward straight away. He said, oh, I love it. He rang the union in front of me. There was a woman in the union office who said, I'm putting it in the post as we speak. It came out to site, and I thought we were going to put it on our crane because I had a pretty diverse, tolerant crew. I happened to be sitting up in the crane one day, and I peer out at the other crane, and there were blokes on that crane who would not have liked that flag on their hook. Well, they had one young rebel who worked with them, and he put it on the hook without them witnessing it. And I'm there with my camera ready going, this is brilliant, because as the hook came up and the driver saw it, I thought steam was going to come out of the camera. And I just thought, that was even better than us putting it on our hook.
Yeah.
But one fellow in particular, who was a really good shop steward, not on our site, but came up to me a few weeks later, nearly in tears, explaining that his son was gay, had never felt like coming out in construction. It would nearly ruin your working life. Yeah? But because of what we've done, there'd been a ruckus at the first meeting held at CFNEU, where people were going, oh, we don't want to support that rubbish, you know, and he let it go on for a bit, and he stood up and said, in fact, my son's gay. And other people stood up and supported him, and the people who were decrying the notion ended up backpedaling, sitting down and shutting up. And a lot of people came out in support of tolerance, of inclusion and everything else, and it was great to see. And it came from this gentleman here. Without that idea, that flag wouldn't have gone up.
Jerome was able to see that it's an issue of people's human rights, and that is something that the union has stood for decades and decades, and that marriage equality was an issue that wasn't any different to that. And so it was a struggle for human rights, and yeah, and it was an amazing, like, people loved it. It was
that no one in Parliament will be able to rattle Jerome. He will be a real advocate for that, and an articulate and passionate representative of all the people fighting against oppression and exploitation.
So when I first met Jerome was angry and shocked but not surprised when I said to him, Jerome, I'm pretty sure Sandra was around that too. I said, Jerome, we just signed an agreement that our new labour hire from now on, all the casuals, will get $10 less per hour to doing the same job as we are doing now.
Jerome, a real working class fighter in Parliament, what that would mean for workers everywhere is that there was someone standing up to the rich and powerful, speaking on behalf of them, someone who was at every picket line, someone who was encouraging strike actions and say, actually, workers make everything, we produce everything, we make society run, we should have a say in what that society looks like.